Welcome to Compass Points, the weekly podcast for CompassKnox.com. CompassKnox.com is your best source for news and politics in Knoxville and Knox County. If you'd like to learn more about the topics discussed on today's podcast, go to CompassKnox.com and subscribe for in-depth coverage and much more.
Welcome to Compass Points, a podcast about Knoxville and Knox County government, politics, business, education, just about anything else that grabs our attention. I'm Scott Barker, the editor of Compass, a subscription-based website and newsletter where we report on all these topics and more. And you can find us at CompassKnox.com. For the second week in a row, we are recording this in two different locations. I am in the Bell Morris Bureau of Compass, and Lord Seth Barber, our esteemed producer, is at his Barbarian Production Studio in Rocky Hill.
Another new and fantastic job title for me, and I love it. I carry as many titles as I can around all the time.
I understand that, Seth. It's weather report time.
It is weather report time. It's been a rainy week, everybody. I am very not so excited to figure out. I got to mow my lawn. I have to mow the lawn, and then it rained again today, and so now it's another foot taller already. It's one of those one foot of grass a day kind of grows cycles we're going through right now. So,
yep, you're right about that. Today, this is Friday when we take this. We had a couple of really pretty intense storms, short-lived but very intense. And
I never thought I'd pay attention to like the amount of rain in a certain period of time, but Holleroo's coming up, and we're looking at getting insurance for the weather in case we have to cancel due to weather or whatever like that. And so, like, one of the factors is how many inches over a period of time of rain is how your policy goes through. And so, to try to get a feel of what a quarter inch of rain over an hour is like, I got that yesterday, and so it was a good reference for our decision-making in this insurance conversation.
Well, as is the case in most conversations you have with insurance companies, you're going to lose. Anyway.
You're not wrong on that at all.
Anyway, so we had a pretty busy week in Knoxville, Knox County. Last week, we had several things we want to talk about. Some of these are going to be quick hitters. Some of them will be a little bit more in depth. One was we'll start. We'll have a couple of items about bills in the legislature. One that failed that would have banned undocumented K through 12 students from going to school in the state, and the other actually gives the Attorney General a lot of power over local governments, and that has never been seen before. So we'll talk about that. Congressman Tim Burchett got some attention for grabbing attention. We'll talk about that a little bit. There was recently a workshop about development options. Creative development options that local officials could look at that were proposed by three local nonprofits who have different roles in looking at development and how it affects the natural world. The Knox County is looking at changing its zoning ordinance contractor, and that's a big deal because they're getting ready to rewrite the zoning ordinance, and there was kind of a last minute change in there. We'll talk about also the city of Knoxville. We reported last year that philanthropists had donated money to fund affordable housing. Well, a couple of those projects are being funded now. At least the city is looking at it this week. But the kind of the biggest news of the week was that Knoxville Mayor Indya Kincannon proposed her budget for the 2025-26 fiscal year. She did that on Friday, this morning now, but when you listen to this, it'll be a couple of days old on Friday at Covenant Health Park. Her State of the City address was filled with bad baseball metaphors, and but she presented a budget that's not really. There's not a whole lot of sexiness in this budget. The net budget is $477.3 million. That's 3.4% higher than this year's $461.6 million budget. And a lot of it is kind of maintaining what's going on. The couple of highlights. One of the things that she always starts out talking about public safety, and the police and firefighters get about a fifth of the total budget, $101.2 million. They always get now get 4.2% step raises every year, and the firefighters are actually getting some of those steps are getting adjusted upward to bring those in line with the market for firefighters throughout the region. So some of the firefighters are getting a pretty good little bump. And another one is that firefighters, and this is one thing people don't realize in many cases, is that most of the calls for service that the Knoxville Fire Department responds to are medical emergencies, car wrecks or heart attacks, things like that. They're not necessarily fires. And the city provides stipends for firefighters to get EMT training or paramedic training, and they are going to increase funds to cover those stipends because they've increased the amount of the stipend, so more firefighters are taking advantage of that and getting that extra training. So they're going to be spending that, and a couple other things to do with public safety. They're going to be spending $1.1 million for violence interruption for a variety of organizations and initiatives there. One of the things that the mayor is really touting is how the crime rate is down for the third straight year in Knoxville, and some of the credit, she says, goes to their violence interruption initiatives, and so they're going to be putting, like I said, $1.1 million toward that, and then there's several other things that are going on. The affordable rental development fund for affordable housing is going to get increased. A total of $8.2 million going to be spent on housing. That is, of course, as we all know, and listeners all know, and most people do know, there's still a housing crisis in Knoxville, Knox County. Still not enough housing to go around, and need to build more of it. And they're going to be putting $8.2 million toward that. They're also going to be spending money on deferred maintenance in various city buildings and facilities. They are going to spend $7 million to refurbish the World's Fair Park Amphitheater. That's something that that mayors, the last several mayors we've had, have talked about. It either needs to be renovated or demolished, and nobody's done either. So this time, Kincannon is wanting to go ahead and pull the trigger on a $7 million renovation for that. There are only two real structures that were built specifically for the World's Fair that are still around, and that's one of them, that and the Sun Sphere. There are a couple of other structures that were there that were the Foundry was, of course, the Stroh House during the World's Fair, but it predates the World's Fair by a century, so it wasn't built specifically for the fair. But the amphitheater was, as was the Sun Sphere, and the Sun Sphere has been renovated recently, and so it's now the amphitheater's turn, and they're going to go there. The one thing that is funny, she didn't really mention this I don't recall her mentioning this in the speech that she gave at the ball field this morning, but the city is planning to make a $25 million lump sum payment on the convention center's debt. Yes, the convention center, we're still paying for the convention center, which was built 25 years ago. And the $25 million lump sum payment is going to go toward that. It will do a couple of things. First of all, it's going to save about $30 million in interest payments over the course of the next 5 years. And of course, that's money that can be spent on other things. And it's going to they're going to end up paying off the convention center debt 2 years early. And it's if they just made the scheduled payments, it would be paid off in 2032. Now it will be paid off in 2030 if all this gets approved. Of course, we have to go to the city council has to approve all this stuff. But it's like I said, when the sexiest thing in the budget is paying off debt, the budget's pretty boring, and that's that's where we are here. And there are many people out there who think that when it comes to government budgets and government activity, that boring is better, and so they should be happy with this city proposed budget. The city council is going to vote on it on first reading on Tuesday of this week. So it seemed to be fairly well received when she gave the announcement at the stadium this morning or Friday morning, and it was kind of a neat backdrop. They originally were going to try to have her be on the field, and the people at the citizens attending would be in the seats. They ended up moving to the concourse because of the rain and the threat of rain. It actually held off until after the event was over, but it was interesting. You were able to look down and see the field as it's been converted to for soccer use, because of course the Knoxville Smokies had their homestand last week. They opened the stadium there. One Knoxville SC is going to be starting their home soccer schedule. Actually, they did start it on Saturday, and that was they'd already converted the field over. It was kind of an interesting thing, because if you'd gone and seen the baseball field and then go back now and see the soccer field, it's kind of a little disconcerting. But anyway, this was one of the things that they wanted to do is make the State of the City address a celebration of the completion of the stadium, which has consumed city and county government for the last 4 or 5 years, and has been a big talk and a big. Some people have looked forward to it with much anticipation, others with much trepidation. But it's here, it's open, and the city certainly has gone all out to try to celebrate that. So we will see next week how the city council reacts to this budget. You never can. It's funny. Over the years, I've always asked city council members on budget day kind of what their initial impressions were, and they always say the same thing. Well, I don't know yet. I've got to take a look at it, and so we'll see what they think about it on Tuesday. There's going to be there's going to be a budget hearing later on, and then a second reading. Of course, they have to have, the budget has to pass 2 readings in order to pass, but that will unfold over the next few weeks. So one thing that was that Mayor Kincannon announced at last year's State of the City address, which was at the Tennessee Amphitheater in World's Fair Park, she announced then that a group of prominent philanthropists had pledged $2 million for affordable housing. And they did that. They did that through the United Way, and they're just now getting ready to start spending that money. The philanthropists they went to some of the most prominent people in the city, the Haslam family, the Clayton family, Knoxville Smokies owner and UT president Randy Boyd, Phil Lawson. They went to all of these major philanthropists and got them to kick in, like I said, more than $2 million for housing. And on Tuesday of this week, City Council is going to be looking to vote on $750,000 of that amount of money that's going to go to two small affordable housing apartment complexes. Now these are what is referred to as middle housing. They're very small apartment complexes. They're not big. Combined, it's only 25 units, but they're in neighborhoods, so they're built to the same scale as the neighborhood. One is in East Knoxville in the Five Points area. The other is in North Knoxville in the Willow Springs area. The funds, because these are small dollar in the grand scheme of things projects. Kevin Dubose, the director of housing and neighborhood development, said, this money was vital. Said these units would not be built if it's not for this money. So they're the developer, and it's the same developer for both at Southeast Capitol, and they've done affordable housing projects throughout the city in the past several years, and they are seeking this kind of cash equity from the city, from the Affordable Rental Development Fund, and also payment in lieu of tax agreements. And as regular listeners know, payment in lieu of tax agreements are basically that freezes property taxes for a set number of years. In these instances, 10 years. At the freeze property taxes at the current level pre-redevelopment, and then after 10 years, the higher property, the developer will start paying the higher property tax bill from the post-development assessment. So that will help the developer keep these apartments affordable, and they do have to keep them affordable for 20 years. So that's there's a long-term commitment there. But once again, this is one of the the concerns a lot of people have about housing is, I mean, we need, Knoxville's housing shortage is, cuts across all price ranges, but it's a lot easier to build market rate housing than it is to build affordable housing. So this will help increase the stock of affordable housing, and then so many people, need that. Rents have gone up more than 50% in the last few years. Wages have not; they've only gone up 3 or 4%, and so that's something that a lot of people are concerned about. A lot of city officials have said they're concerned about it as well. So this will add at least 25 units of affordable housing in the next year or so, however long it takes them to end up building these projects. So, this is one of the things we end up talking about development so much, because so much of what's going on in Knoxville and Knox County has to do with development. And one of the recently there was a major change in how Knox County is doing theirs. Knox County has had they started the advanced Knox planning process a couple of years ago. Got a new comprehensive plan out of it, and the next step in that is to develop a unified development ordinance or a zoning ordinance, where they will completely revise the zoning ordinance in order to implement that comprehensive plan that has already been passed. And there was a big, they've run into a snag, and imagine that could happen. Last October, commissioners approved a contract with an Orlando-based firm called Inspire Placemaking Collective, and they were going to guide the county through the process of writing this unified development ordinance. They would look at the existing zoning, comprehensive plan, try to come up with an ordinance that would implement that plan faithfully, go through public comment section or period during this, and over about a 2-year period, they would come up with this. Well, turns out that the county and Inspire Placemaking Collective didn't get along very well. Apparently, they said that the county officials said, "Well, it just didn't work out. That it just wasn't a good fit." And so, what the county has decided to do is cancel that contract, which they've done, and hire a Missoula, Montana company called Orion Planning and Design. And it's based in Missoula. They've got offices all over the country, including one in Chattanooga. So it's not like they're not completely unfamiliar with the Southeast. But they're going to hire Orion to take over the project, and the original contract with Inspire was $437,000, and they spent about 15% of that so far. Some of that work will be able to move over to Orion, but Orion's contract is going to be for basically $500,000. So it's a little bit, quite a bit more, 62,000, almost 63,000 more than the Inspire contract. But but they're going to be getting started. The original timeline for this was 24 months. if this gets approved by county commission when they meet on Monday, then they will be able to start on May 1st. As I said, they've got some work already done from the previous contractor, and but they're hoping to revise the schedule instead of 24 months, which would put this completed in 2027, after Mayor Glenn Jacobs leaves office and after there's a big turnover on county commission. Instead, they're going to try to rush that and get it done by the end of the summer in 2026, so that it will be done before all those office holders leave office, and there's still some continuity in that. So while that's been a big bump in the road, county officials are hoping that that the new contractor is a better fit than the older contractor was. So,
well, it sounds like they better be, because they got to do this pretty quick. They got to get moving.
Yeah. You know, they've got to really hustle on it. And one of the things, I mean, the city redid their zoning code, a couple of years ago, and recode Knoxville. And one of the things that was funny is it too was a multi-year process, and when it came down to and there was a lot of public input in that. There were public meetings about that in various parts of the city, on almost a weekly basis. And still, when it came time to have a plan to actually vote on, there were people who were saying, "Oh, you're rushing this. This is, they're moving too fast." Everything. Don't be surprised if the same thing happens in the county when they go through that, because a lot of people will not be paying attention until it's almost over, and then they'll pay attention, and then they'll be really upset. To put it bluntly.
I mean, I've got a little personal skin in the game on this one, so I'm gonna be paying doubly close attention as a Knox County resident, as well as somebody who pays attention to what county commission and those guys are doing. So yeah, I'm good. The faster they do it, the better I'm going to be. If what I'm hearing is true, but we'll see how much the rumor is to what they actually present.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got a pretty good idea of it if you go and look at the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan is kind of as its name implies, it's a general plan. Where the the rural areas that are going to be more lightly developed, the areas that are going to be developed for more higher density subdivisions. Those are going to go basically. But what you don't know is the exact street by street,
right,
parcel by parcel zoning.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they've got to do, and they can't just go. Well, they could just keep things the way they are, but there are some gaps. There's some holes. There's some the old zoning code really doesn't address things the way that the comprehensive plan calls for them to be addressed. So they've already run into some issues with that. Mayor Glenn Jacobs got really angry at county commission last month for limiting the density of a rezoned piece of property in the planned growth area, which is supposed to be higher density. He was really angry about that because that's not what is called for in the plan. And so this is something that will that most people think that wouldn't really apply to them, but it does apply to a lot of people who this will apply to people who live in the county, outside the city limits of Knoxville and the town limits of Farragut, out there, we're what the intensity of development around subdivisions and that sort of thing is going to be very. And those are always contentious. People are always concerned about roads, they're concerned about schools, they're concerned about flooding, and so this will have a direct effect on all of that. And kind of speaking of things like that, there was a meeting the week before last that 3 local nonprofits held. It's kind of a workshop for county commissioners. All planning commissioners also were in attendance. Even a city council member was there. But the Iams Nature Center, Foothills Land Conservancy, and the Knox Community Planning Alliance all kind of got together, and they presented these officials with some creative solutions to things that they are hoping that commissioners will take a look at as the Unified Development Ordinance is being drafted. One is the Foothills Land Conservancy is involved in protecting farmland, and that's been a big issue in the last few years. They and of course the Knox Community Planning Alliance as well is interested in preserving farmland, but there is a real desire among people who live in more rural areas of Knox County, especially east and northeast Knox County, to preserve farmland. Foothills Land Conservancies in the farmland conservation business. So they had a representative at this meeting talking about easements, conservation easements. That's a kind of an interesting, almost counterintuitive thing where a farmer or property owner can grant an easement to the Foothills Land Conservancy on their property, and that would limit development as long as there's the property that's on the deed. Just like an easement for a railroad would be on the deed, and all that. So that's a way to limit development and keep farmland productive as farmland and nothing else. Of course, it reduces the value of the property because your options are limited to just to the development parameters spelled out in the easement. But it can work for you. And the state of Tennessee, the legislature just created a fund to help incentivize farmers to grant easements like that. The one farm that I actually covered this 2 decades ago, the Cruz Farm, the ice cream folks, they had a farm in East Knox County, and they went through a federal program where the federal government actually paid them to grant an easement on their property to limit development. They used that money to expand their operations, expand their herd of dairy cattle, and eventually to get the Cruz Farm ice cream business started. And so that was a real interesting story back in the early 2000s, and it's continuing on today. That's one thing that that they talked about. They talked about some other avenues that could be taken, like using making linear parks out of creeks, using native plants and landscaping to essentially help create wetlands around the creeks to improve the water quality, things like that could be included in the zoning ordinance to help make these developments a little bit more sustainable and a little bit more environmentally friendly than they might otherwise be. So again, that's something that over the next at least year and a half, when the unified zoning ordinance is being drafted and debated, that we can pay attention to. And a few other things that wanted to go through real quick. Politico, the website, national political website, named our own Congressman Tim Burchett as one of the 7 thirstiest members of Congress, and by that they mean that he seeks out attention. He's always on CNN or he's not on Fox as much as you might otherwise think, but he is he's always good to go on CNN. A lot of times he goes on to speak with anchor Jim Acosta, who is who worked in Knoxville, and he's known forever. But he's everybody else. I mean, we've noticed when he's gone on and he makes all these appearances, but it's also others have done so as well. The Politico called him a quirky conservative, and that he's always available when the Republicans need his vote to get anything passed. And they also noted that when things are calmer, he'll happily talk about UFOs, and which he will. And
I know that for a fact. To attest to how thirsty he is, he did my show.
That's thirst, man.
Almost in agreement, and all we did was talk about the aliens. And I'm like, it was a fun little chat with him, because I'm down with the whole thing, and like it's an interesting little tidbit, and I wasn't sure if he was like into the aliens because he was into the aliens or real thing, or if it was like I'm a congressman and they're not supposed to keep secrets from me. And kind of through the conversation, I learned that that it's both. He believes in the aliens, and he's also pissed off that he doesn't get the information that he requests when he asks a general or somebody, "Hey, what's happening over there in Area 51?"
Yeah.
So, but yes, he did my podcast and was very excited to do it. So yeah, if you put a microphone in front of him, he'll talk.
Absolutely. Another little quick hitter thing that we'll do is from the General Assembly, the state legislature adjourned for the session last week. $59.5 billion budget that they have going on there. One of the things that is one of the last bills that passed, is one that passed in the Senate, it already previously passed in the House, has a big impact on local governments. And what the bill would do is it gives the state attorney general the authority to investigate local governments to make sure that that ordinances and resolutions and even down to administration policies, things like that, pass constitutional muster or state law, that it complies with both, which you think, okay, well, they should, and usually they do. And there is you can always go through the courts to challenge things like that. But this is they're giving the attorney general the authority to go ahead and investigate it without waiting for citizens to initiate any kind of complaints like this. And what he can do, initially he can just do all this on his own. now it was amended, and he has to go through a 3-judge panel that would make a ruling on the constitutionality or legality of local government actions. And if they find that the actions, whatever they may be, are either illegal or unconstitutional, they can order the funding that local government receives from the state withheld, which is a huge stick as opposed to a carrot that the Attorney General can wield. And there was some debate in the Senate especially, and of course it was passed on party line votes. The Republicans voted for it, the Democrats voted against it. But one of the things was that the Democrats were saying, is this a problem? What problem are you trying to solve? And the Senate sponsor of the bill basically said, hey, it's an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. So basically saying, no, there's no reason to do it. We just think it's a good thing to do. So that's passed. Lee will be signing that into law, and it will be, my guess is that it's primarily aimed at Memphis and Nashville, but we'll see if Knoxville gets some scrutiny on that. One other bill that was in the legislature that didn't make it through was a bill that would have banned undocumented children from attending public schools or like charge them admission or tuition. But it stalled out in the House, and there was a lot of opposition, including from Republicans, on this. And the sponsor of that bill in the House, Republican Majority Leader William Lambeth, he actually ended up pulling that because he was concerned that if the state did not educate children regardless of their status, that the state could lose some of its federal funding. So again, it's a funding thing where you got one bill where the state's threatening or could be threatening local government's funding, and this one the feds could be threatening state government funding, and so that failed for this year. Of course, advocates for immigrant rights and refugee rights hailed that as the demise of the bill, and some Republicans did not. And that is now one thing that people should note is this bill can come right back up next year. So it's dead for this session, but not perhaps forever. So we'll see how that goes. So that's kind of the roundup for the week that was last week. And this week we've got a lot of budget stuff. So first of all, on Monday, County Commission is going to be meeting at 5 o'clock at the main assembly room of the City County building. They're going to be mention the zoning contractor. They're going to be voting on that to whether to approve that contract. They're also going to take a look at a proposal by Commissioner Andy Fox to change the way grants get approved. He has been adamant about trying to turn down federal grant money, saying that the federal deficit's too big, too big. Can't really. It's irresponsible to accept this money, and this is kind of a different tack on that. Right now, the county departments will apply for grants and then come to county commission after they've been awarded and ask them if it's okay if they accept the award. What he wants to do is make sure that these departments get commission's approval to apply for the grants, and then if they're awarded, to accept them. That's similar to what the city does. The city actually does everything up front. They will, if a department in the city government wants to go after a federal grant or a state grant, they ask for authorization to apply for and accept the grant. So if they don't have to come back again just to go through the formality of accepting the money. So anyway, Fox wants to change that. I don't know how much of an appetite there is for that. I don't think that a lot of commissioners think it's, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So they may not. On Tuesday, also at 5 at the Summer Place boardroom, the school board, Knox County Board of Education, is going to hold a special called meeting to vote on Superintendent John Ryswick's proposed $700.5 million budget. That is a lot of it it's one of those that's again is similar to the city budget. It's basically a stability budget. There's nothing really sexy and new. There is $41.5 million in new revenue that's coming in. Most of that's going to be towards staff pay. Anyway, they're going to vote on that. Now, of course, the school board votes on it, then it goes to county commission and goes to the county mayor and commission to get incorporated into the overall county budget. And the school system accounts for a little more than 60% of the county's budget. So this is a big chunk of the county's overall budget that the school board's going to be voting on. And also on Tuesday night over in the city county building, city council will vote on the first reading of the budget that Mayor Kincannon presented last week. They're also going to vote on those affordable housing projects and several other items. They've got a pretty packed agenda to go through. And so we're going to be at all those meetings covering that and more next week. So,
I'll be at the beer board meeting at 5 before the city council meeting, but not to cover it for you. I've got my own agenda item on that meeting myself. So we got a beer board meeting for those that care what's going on in the alcohol service in Knoxville.
Yeah, well, we don't really talk about beer board meetings very often, and there's a good reason for that.
They're boring. They're super boring.
Well, one of the things is it's an administrative thing, and beer boards in Tennessee basically are compelled to approve all applications as long as the applicants dot their I's and cross their T's.
Right.
The only way you can otherwise deny an application is if the applicant has been convicted of a crime of moral turpitude. And so, other than that,
all right. So I do got to be careful. You're right. I do need to be careful with my appearance at the beer board meeting. You're right. I need to make sure I've got my turpitudes in check.
Absolutely. What's your moral turpitudes? Yeah. Anyway, so it's every now and then there's something that comes up, and it's always interesting when someone possibly gets their permit revoked or something like that. That's always kind of interesting. It was a couple of years ago where Aramark, the UT vendor at Neyland Stadium, got in trouble and was at risk of losing their beer permit, which of course did not happen, but it was something interesting to cover. But that was because of violations, not
right.
Most of what the beer boards do both the city and the county, is is they just take applications for people wanting permits and make sure, like I said, make sure the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. And anyway, but if you are so inclined, you can go. There is a beer board meeting for the city at 5:00 on Tuesday, before the 1 hour before the 6:00 regular council meeting. So you can go there, and you can also go. Your listeners can go there and ridicule you, Seth, if they want to.
I'm good with it. I mean, I will say through this podcast, and one of the things I appreciate most about getting to do this work for you is people know who I am, and it's kind of nice when people are like, "Oh yeah, I know who you are." It's like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah, well, if don't blame us if somebody does go there and taunt you. Hopefully, they'll go there and cheer you on.
I'm a firm believer in the no press is bad press, because I've got a big event coming up. And the more people are talking about it, the better the event's going to be for me. So, come and heckle, and that'll make it into a news story somewhere, and that's great for me.
All right, well, Seth, I won't be the one to heckle you. I will be one to thank you for the work you've done as our producer again this week. Our thanks also to Will Wright, who provides our music for us, and our appreciation to you folks who are out there listening. Thanks so much. Check us out at CompassKnox.com. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and we'll be back next week with another installment of Compass Points.
CompassKnox.com is your best source for news and politics in Knoxville and Knox County. If you'd like to learn more about the topics discussed on today's podcast, go to CompassKnox.com and subscribe for in-depth coverage and much more. And many thanks to William Wright for composing our theme song. Compass Points is a partnership of Barking Shark Media and Barbarian Productions, and recorded by Lord Seth A. Barber at Barbarian Studios, Knoxville, Tennessee.